Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We're going to talk a bit of food now and what else food is doing apart from
Awards.
food.
When you eat, you get
They
awarded.
have been giving some awards. Dufil Prima Foods PLC has been doing some CSR, and we're glad to welcome the Group Corporate Affairs Manager, Mr. Tokboya Shiwaji. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us this
You're
morning.
welcome.
We heard about your Independence Day Award. What's that all about?
Okay, thank you very much. And good morning, viewers. What brought out this is in 2018, 2008 rather, we realized that this space was particularly empty, and we realized that a lot of people who had been given awards in Nigeria had been adult and people who naturally will expect that. And we decided that, let's look at a space whereby people who voluntarily do things out of their own volition. And we decided that we're going to give awards to children below 15 years, which was our primary target. And we just realized that a lot of them were doing quite a number of things that were worth emulating in the society, and that was what brought Dufil to actually set up this award ceremony, and we've been doing it since 2008.
Under 15, you said?
Yes, under 15.
Now, how does this work?
Okay, essentially what happens is that, the process is that it started by asking people to actually give nominations. You have stories of people who had done some form of heroic acts in our society. So that is that collection part of it, which people nominate candidates. And of course,
I, as a mother, can nominate my daughter.
once you have a good story, of course you can. Okay. Because, it's not just nomination alone. So the process is involved in this. So for people not to just write scripts from their bedroom and say, my child has done this, or my fellow person has done this, there's also that part of it. And so apart from the search exercise, we also have the validation exercise, which we ask independent research teams to go back and do a back-end check to all these stories that have been submitted.
So if I nominate my daughter,
Yes.
you will still send a team to come and check whether what I said actually happened.
Because for every story, there's always a third-party angle to it. There's always a third party. Whatever you say had happened needs to be corroborated by some other people in the society, not necessarily your own family. Okay. And there are also other stories that will be looked at. So the fact that you have nominated or you have sent a story does not make your story.
So I'm sure you had some people nominated, and at the end of the day, the stories did not pan out.
Oh, sure. We have so many. Heroic acts.
Give us an example.
Okay, for instance, heroic acts to you and I might mean different things. So somebody sends in a story and says that, okay, my daughter, the jug was going to fall down from the television, for instance, and my daughter ran and picked it up. For that mother, it's something good. However, there are more stories that are worth emulating, and Nigeria needs to talk about rather than that.
Okay, let's look at the stories, the good stories. Give us, name a couple of one or two successful heroic acts
people
that
who have
people
won,
should.
Acts of winners.
Yes, for people who have won. The first winner was actually Khalil Bala. The last time I said, the 2008 winner was Khalil Bala. It was 8-year-old then, and unfortunately the house went on fire, and the mom was not around, and neighbors came in and gathered, and the adult calmed down. He suddenly realized that the younger sister was left in the building. So before anybody knew what was happening, he ran back and, of course, brought back the younger sister. Unfortunately, he had multiple burns on his feet. And, of course, this is something that we're not asking people to do, but if you look at the act behind it, it's heroic itself. Now, the guy who won again the year after was called Dimbachia. He was the first person who got on site. If you remember the DC-130 plane crash of the generals back then, he was the one that got back on site, and he had to run almost 3 kilometers from the hill to come and alert people, and he ran back again. He eventually was able to save about 3 or 5 of those generals. Incidentally, this same boy, after was awarded, was asked what he wanted to do. I'm happy to tell you that even as we speak today, that boy, no more a boy anyway, he's the second lieutenant in the Nigerian army. Wow. So we have stories like that. Yes, there are stories like that that people will hear and will wonder, okay, does this really still happen in Nigeria? And the truth is that there are a lot of stories like that are very touching and still happening in this country.
So what has the response been this year?
Response is awesome as far as we're concerned. I mean, before now we used to have entries ranging from about 500 to 600, 700. But I mean, this year alone, we had almost about 900 to 1,000 stories of different acts.
Okay, let's look at the Moritalas.
Yes.
I mean, the Moritalas, as in, when this happens, it's about the Pepe
Yes.
coming in. How has this affected, how has this impacted on your brand in terms of the financials and all of that?
Well, seriously speaking, I mean, what we look is beyond just the financial part of it.
Mr.
And I will give a figure to it. But you see, beyond that, we have been able to bring these children from, so to speak, a ground zero to another realm. I gave you an example of somebody who was nothing and suddenly realized that, oh, he could do more with that word. Naturally, what happens is that on that day, I mean, winners in any category, we have three categories. We have the physical bravery, we have the social bravery, and we have the intellectual bravery. If time permits, I'll probably explain this. But I mean, they will win at least ₦1 million education scholarship.
Okay, not cash.
Cash, I mean, we just expect that they are going to be given a check of ₦1 million minimum to cater for their education, or as the case may be. Because we don't want a situation where this cash is given out and the parents decide that, oh, I need to buy another car or I need to buy another shop. So it's targeted towards engaging the children in school.
Okay. Which therefore presupposes that you actually pay the child's school fees straight away. The money doesn't touch their hands at all.
Oh, it does. I mean, you can imagine if somebody is hungry, who's somebody who is not well fed, and you are paying school fees. So it goes to the parents, but we also have a monitoring team who ensures that what we say they should use that money for is what it's going to be used for.
Okay. So it's not just enough to win the award. There's something that goes with.
And this is just the one that is coming from us. In situations like that, we've had people who have voluntarily donated more. Last year, some people went home as much as 3.5 million naira, 4 million naira. Spontaneously, people saw those acts and they willingly gave out money.
Okay, you mentioned some categories: physical bravery, mental bravery, you call it,
social bravery, and intellectual bravery.
Tell us how. Can you just explain?
Okay, the physical bravery. I mean, just like the ones I'd mentioned, who actually did something physically. I mean, in terms of somebody who went back into burning or who saved somebody for a drowning, that's physical acts. So those are one category. And why this was because that we started getting some stories that we could not benchmark against each other. Okay. For instance, if somebody who created a generator, for instance, from an algae or from water, how do you benchmark that against somebody who rescued somebody from a drowning?
Just hold your thoughts. Okay. We'll take a moment, then we'll come back. We'll look at these categories, and then let's talk about what's happening this year. Join us again. Our closing moment with Mr. Tokpe Asiwaju. Mr. Asiwaju, you were talking about the second and third category. You've done the physical. Let's look at the mental and intellectual. And okay. How do those work?
Intellectual are the people, boys or girls who have actually done some heroic feat using their intellectual capacity. For instance, we have people who will naturally create things, maybe coding session, for instance. They've gone to school and they're so good at coding and they've been able to create a material, or they've been able to create a car, or they've been able to create an appliance using that intellectual knowledge. So people submit all these stories. You have people who had created generators, you have people who had created cars, engineering, tech processes being intellectual. And that's what we're rewarding in that category. And social. Part of it are people, there are so many social vices in the society. For instance, you have young girls who are campaigning against early child marriage, drug abuse. So those are the three categories that we're looking at.
This year?
Yes, this year.
Okay, how much, what's the price attached to each of these categories?
1 million naira, like I said earlier.
Okay.
That's the minimum.
So who are those supporting Indomie this year?
This year, like we also we have all our media partners, just like here right now, talking about this initiative. And we also have, you want me to mention some other people? You have TVC, you have channels, you have DSTV, you have quite a number of them. You have Wazobia and all the likes of them.
You pulled quite a crowd.
Yes, and in terms for financial institution, one of the biggest supporters for us this year will be Stanbic IBTC Bank.
Okay, so where is this event taking place this year?
Event is taking place at the Federal Palace Hotel Marquis, Victoria Island, and it's happening on the second Saturday, which is 12th of October 2019.
Is it open to all?
No, it's incident. It's just we don't have that capacity to even hold everybody anyway, but it's it comes to invites.
Okay.
Strictly by invitation.
Special
Yes.
invitation.
Okay. What are the plans for the future for this award?
Plans for the future is to make it bigger and better anyway. And we're looking at a situation where we can actually move this event around the country. And we hope that security situation will improve or not so that we can also move. Because what we do is that we bring all these people wherever they are from, we bring them to Lagos to celebrate them. However, that's not to say that these stories are actually gathered in Lagos alone. We have research team who come round the country looking for these stories. So stories are from all over. We just make sure that the event happens in a particular location.
Okay, so all we can do now is just wish you all the best
Thank you
and
very
to
much.
congratulate you on this initiative. It's good that you are looking for young heroes, and we're glad that you're actually finding them
Yes.
in the face of all the challenges that young people face in Nigeria, or that people face in Nigeria. Congratulations.
Thank you
and
so
we
much.
wish you all the best on the 12th of October.
Thank you.
Indomie Independence Day Hero Awards.
Yes.
Thank you very much for
You're
coming
welcome.
to tell us all about it.
You're welcome.